by Anniston City Council, and we're very proud to talk about a number of capital improvement projects that we are committing to undertake. Some issues that need to be addressed. We're very fortunate to have gotten a pretty substantial sum from our Rescue Act funding from the federal government. We issued a bond a couple of weeks ago, and so bond proceeds will also be used to pay for some of these capital improvement projects. But we are so excited. This group is working so well together. We're blessed to have an excellent city staff to work with us on these issues. These are issues that Anniston has faced for a number of years, and we're confident that with the completion of these capital improvement projects, Anniston will look a lot different. We all want Anniston to be everything that it can be. We believe that these capital improvement projects will go a long way. And I just want to briefly mention, what some of these are. And ultimately, we're going to be moving the City Hall back to the existing federal courthouse at 12th and Noble. We've got a farmer's market that is going to be constructed. We've got plans for expansion of the training facility at the Anniston Regional Fire Training Center. I think it's important that we continue to bring law enforcement, public safety training into Anniston. I want to make sure I'm not leaving anything out. A big one, again, is the completion of the Ladiga Trail. This is the Rails to Trails project. The trail in Alabama right now goes all the way to just north of Atlanta, and this would be extending the Ladiga Trail into downtown Anniston near 4th and Noble at the Multimodal Center. This is something that the city has worked on for a long time, and we're proud that the property has finally been acquired to construct that trail, and that'll be huge for economic development for us. We've got renovations at the Anniston Museum of Natural History. We've got plans for a public park at 11th and Noble. These funds will be used to address some pretty serious draining and flooding issues both in Golden Springs and West Anniston. We've got some much needed paving projects that will be included. These are all just huge infrastructural improvements that need to be made. Again, I'm just thankful that we're, of one accord here, and these projects, again, when completed, we're just really excited about its impact on Anniston, its ability to continue to grow, and the quality of life of our citizens, and those we're confident will move to Anniston as a result of these capital improvement projects. But we're just so very excited, so glad to be working with these great people up here, and any of us would be happy to take any questions if there are. Yes, sir, Bill.
Yeah, I was wondering what the timeline might be for the city to move into the courthouse.
Well, we believe we've still got some work to do there. Obviously, we talked about some in the work session, but possibly even as early as well. Hopefully, sometime beginning next year.
Okay. And what about parking downtown around the courthouse for employees and visitors too?
So those are issues we're also dealing with. Too, as we're dealing with this, we've also working on a comprehensive plan. And parking, will be addressed in that plan, but we recognize these capital improvement projects, especially those going on downtown. Parking is an issue, and that's something we're working through to address. Thank you for asking.
And also, the building was placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1976. When you go in there to renovate it, and what type of restrictions do you might have when you're doing the renovations?
Well, there will be, and there actually will be interior restrictions. And we're working both with federal, state, and the local agency there as well. So we're working through. We've got a pretty good idea of what some of those interior restrictions will be. But as we're continuing to work with these federal agencies and state agencies, we'll get more guidance there.
And do you know the square footage of the building?
Off the top of my head, I did not know.
So about 34,000
square 34,000 square feet.
Yes.
And but among other things, when you do the parking, there'll be handicap access, more for handicap that'll be addressed.
Yes.
And I didn't have a chance to look at the floor plan too much, but will the city council chambers, y'all will meet at the new place, right?
Yes, absolutely.
The existing courtroom.
Yeah, okay. Is that?
Which also has some historical restrictions on it, but we're working through those. Yes, sir.
That's all I have.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
In terms of moving City Hall, what are the plans for the old building?
Well, the old City Hall building is actually where the regional federal court has to be constructed. And the old City Hall's torn down.
We're leasing space.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
As far as priorities go, if you move the city hall into the old federal building, and you have a new federal courthouse, and you have the Calhoun County courthouse, administration building all in the same vicinity, and you have not increased parking places, it's gonna be a very big crunch on certain days for parking. As far as these new city hall being promoted at the old federal building, there's very limited parking for that place. And then if you got the other two buildings, so
May I say something, Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I want to keep in mind with parking, keep in mind that the city owns the parking lot on 12th and Noble. We actually own that parking lot across from us, and there's also parking space that the federal courthouse uses right now. That's for staff, there's enough for some staff as well. But across the street, even if we get a hotel, we have a big parking lot that the city actually owns that we can actually park in there. So there's the parking as for staff and others will not be a problem. And then on the side of the building, there will be handicap accessibility as well. And also as we address the historical aspect, everything we've done from the start to the beginning, we've included not only the state, but also the federal, all those historical preservation entities have been included. So everything we're doing, we know what we can't move, what we can't touch. Before we even walked with the architect, he knew what we can do, what we can't do, so that's been done. The only thing that we're working through now is the signage, and the signage because we can't put anything attached to the building, so we're also working on a way that we're gonna have a freestanding sign that we can put that's not attached to the building. So we are working through all these entities. We have been proactive on all that we've done, so we understand the historical aspect of that building. So before we even started that, we had to have those conversations. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the park, the farmer's market, do you have a completion, nothing else, plan on having those done?
Not construction completion dates, but
What do you think the economic impact will be about actually providing parking to the community?
well, we certainly don't have any figures, because the study's not been commissioned, but, bringing people downtown is important, certainly important for downtown Double Street development. But obviously, anything we can do to bring people downtown, you continue to look at it, and continue to do. We're confident that, a permanent farmer's market there will absolutely be beneficial to downtown.
We've had a thriving farmer's market for several years now, that we've worked under a rather large tent. It's moved from different locations, in the downtown area, but this just gives us a permanent home.
I'm assuming that that's also the reason for the completion of Ladiga Trail into Anniston, to help bring more people into Anniston.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's been an important project for years, certainly for tourism. But yeah, I think we're all thankful that that's been done. And we believe that the structure will be completed there next year.
Could I say one other thing, Mayor?
Sure, yes.
I want to make sure that you understand, if you look at that market, that's why we have city market. The farmer's market is seasonal. But again, that space can be used for so much more. There's other things, that's why we want to call it the market. So we can come down to other business. If you want to do a flea market, you can use that place space. Also our main street would be located there. So there's so many other things. We don't want that to be just one use of farmer's market. That really makes not a whole lot of sense. But to have that where they can do other things with citizens that actually rent that, where you can actually come and have an easy space, a green space where you can sit. So there's going to be so much that's going to accent downtown, not just a farmer's market, but a city market, a meeting place for city people, city members.
will there be any permanent businesses in the market?
No, not permanent, but there's a possibility if you want to set up, somebody that has a food trade or something like that, they can actually set up there for a time, but not a permanent building. The only thing that will be permanent will be the office for our downtown market. Yeah, but but someone will be available daily that you can talk with if you want to use the space. Yes.
Actually, this, next door, we had a work session, so is this gonna be Anniston's permanent home
We're doing all this work in everything.
And that little bit of great government complex, because you got the city hall and then the county courthouse, and the regional federal courthouse, so we'll have essentially, public, yes, absolutely, good public space. All right, thank you.
Y'all good? Cool.